as a seller, any fees or money that you would need to worry about up front would be just getting your house ready to list. So I will meet with you at your home initially, and we will talk about what you can do to improve your home to get more money for it. So I'll walk around the house for you and tell you room by room what we can do. A lot of times, I would say 90% of the time, it's just packing, just putting stuff away. And I tell everyone, just pack it once. So if you don't need it, go ahead and put it away. If you don't need it now, but you need it later, just pack it for the next place. If you don't need it ever, then is it for goodwill? Is it to sell? Is it to throw away? And just do it one time. So don't be like me and just move it to the next house where you're gonna throw it away again. So we could do that room by room. If you need something painted, or we need a repair, or I see something that can improve the value of the home where you can put in a little money but then get a lot out of it, I will tell you that. Sometimes the time isn't there, or the headache doesn't outweigh the cost. So we'll talk about that too, because sometimes it's just not worth it. Also, if we are talking about you needing to sell in order to buy, or you are building a house and living in a house that you want to sell, there's a lot of different scenarios that we'll be talking through. So those come into play as well when we're prepping a house to go on the market. But as far as costs to get your house ready to go on the market, they're pretty minimal for most of my sellers. And then the biggest thing is just timing, and what the best timing is for you, and how long it will take you to do what I've told you to do, and if that works out with the timing of the market and what your expectations are for when you want to sell. Once you go on the market and you get a contract, then the only fees you're going to have are if repairs come up at a home inspection, if the contract you've accepted has a home inspection as a part of it. And you'll know that when you accept the contract. It'll be something that we have talked about, and you will know up front that that is something you have agreed to. But it is a negotiation point, just because you get a home inspection report back that has a list of repairs that someone's asked for, or they've asked for a credit of $10,000, it does not mean that you have to say yes to it. You have the opportunity to counter, and we talk through that as well. And then also, while we're under contract, if you live in a community with homeowners association, my company, my team, whatever you want to call it, will order the homeowners association documents for you. So every homeowners association has a different fee for that, and we do the ordering of it for you, and the fee is just on your closing disclosure at the end. It's not, we don't charge you a fee. It's the HOA company that charges the fee for putting the package together. So you don't have to worry about it at all during the contract to closing. It's just something you'll see on your closing disclosure. And the last thing is the termite inspection does fall on the seller, and that is also going to be in the contract. So that is about $65 to $75 depending on the company. If you're already under contract with somebody, you will have generally let me know at the listing appointment, but if you haven't, I will bring it back up again when we go under contract and ask you. And sometimes it's free. If you do have a service with somebody already, they'll come out and look at it at no charge. And if you do have termites and you are under contract with somebody, then they have to take care of it. So definitely let me know about that. If you do have termites, it's generally not a huge expense to take care of it. That's one of the easier things to deal with as far as repairs go. So don't be afraid of termites, and especially if you've had people in your crawl space before. But that comes within 30 days of closing. And if you are on a property with well and septic, those also have to be done within 30 days of closing and fall on the seller to take care of. Well is a bacteria and E. coli test that we run, and septic depends on how the buyer writes it in the contract. So they could ask us to do a visual inspection, they could ask us to dig up the tank, they could ask us to pump the tank. So I will have told you before you accept the contract what exactly the expectations are from the buyer, so you know. But you know, those are, and we'll talk about what those fees cost. And again, you may already have a company you've been working with for years and you're like, oh, you know, we work with JL Bishop or whatever, and they come out and they service this all the time. If not, we have people that we work with that we can recommend and help you with. But we, even if you have a company you work with, we'll still schedule it for you and take care of all of that. And those are not fees that you have us scheduling things and handling everything. We do all of that for you, so you don't have to worry about it. The only fees you have are actually paying the companies that are doing the work at the house. And then if there are any issues with the septic or any issues with the well water, having those treated would be repairs, would be considered repairs that you'd have to get done. And then your closing costs are 1% of the sales price generally. And in some markets, buyers pay that for sellers. So we will see where we are at the time of your sale, and you will know that when you accept your contract. It would be in the contract up front if that buyer is paying for your closing costs or not. And then the other fees would be any realtor fees that you are paying. And again, that would have been talked about and gone through at the listing agreement. And other than that, those are the only fees on the seller side.